What's up, guys? Today we got another Tackle Warehouse order. Now this is probably going to be the biggest order that I put together this year, even though that this isn't the biggest of boxes. There's a lot of money in here, and this is an $800 order from Tackle Warehouse, so don't tell the wife. But what we're going to do is we're going to open it up. Some of the things in here are for some other projects. We already talked about that in the previous video. I'm going to be starting to do swim jigs. I'm starting off with swim jigs. I'm going to work with football jigs and start doing my own stuff, see what I can come up with. But without further ado, because I got limited space on my SD card today, we are going to jump into it. So there's a couple reels in today's order, and there is a rod which is off camera at the moment, but we'll get into that here in a little bit more detail. So let's open it up. I think I might have opened it upside down. Alright, paper. Alright, so we got the invoice and we got the return labels and all that stuff. We got two shirts. I remember getting two shirts. Alright. One's probably a long sleeve, one's a t-shirt. That black and wood grain deal that they got going on, kind of like that shirt. All right, so right here on top, we got, you know, some skirt material. We're gonna start doing some swim jigs. We'll start off with that, and I kind of went nuts with some of the stuff that I was ordering, but wanted to kind of start things off with some crappie, golden shiner stuff. We got some crawdad colorations going on in here, but I ordered quite a bit of skirt material, and as you can see, things can get out of hand pretty quickly with that, but hopefully we can make some pretty sweet swim jigs. Got a Tackle Warehouse rod glove, which seems ultra small, but pretty good quality. The ones that I've gotten in the past, they typically give you a deal when you buy a rod. I think it's like a couple bucks off, if that. I sell rod gloves on eBay, so I got my own stuff, but I figured, I think theirs is a little bit longer than the ones that I sell, so we'll give it a shot, see how it works on this rod. Alright, so this right on top. So I was going through the 2019 classic lures, and the lures that performed really well. And two of the top guys, I think it was Wheeler and Defoe, were both throwing the Storm Ashari, probably not saying that right, rattling vibe. And you know, Ott had some modifications that he did to his, but I have quite a few of these Storm square bills. Didn't have any of the lipless. Kind of like the looks of them, so I picked them up. It's cheap bait, not too expensive. I might do some modifications to it, but we'll give it a shot here in the spring. Craw pattern, always good to throw that in the beginning of the season, and we'll give it a shot. You know, one thing that I've noticed, Tackle Warehouse does a really good job of, you know, documenting their products that they're selling, but there's subtleties in lures that I'm starting to notice when I order them that they don't really capture on their pictures. And this guy, you know, I thought that was pretty red, and then you had these lines that came down, but they almost have like a reflective green to them, which is pretty sharp. Just kind of notice that. Soft knock rattle. We'll give these guys a shot this spring, see how they produce. Pretty rugged rattle there. Oh, we got some more skirt material. I got some bands, a couple different colorations, I believe. This is for those, you know, your fish imitation skirts I'm going to be doing. The craw pattern, not the craw pattern, the something like what I'd be using this for, a crappie pattern, more of your, you know, sunfish, whatever. That's what I'm going to be using those bands for. We'll get into that in a second. A couple more. I went nuts on the skirt material, guys. I lost my mind with the skirt material. That one's nice. I like that one. Black scale blue flash. That's pretty sick. Nice green pumpkin, black scale. That looks like watermelon candy, watermelon magic. Some really good colorations. That one's pretty sick too. Green pumpkin, orange flake. I like that. That's pretty awesome. Some good stuff there. Some more skirt material. I'm gonna have swim jigs for days. Can't wait to start making those. More skirt material. I think I went nuts. I think I lost my mind. Hey, skirt tool. That's cool. That's gonna be helpful. Most of this order, now that I'm looking at it, is skirt material. Some more bands. I got some amber colored ones, craw patterns, and then black for whatever general stuff. Some more Ashari Vibes. That's the one that Defoe won the classic with. He modified it substantially. He colored in these lines with black Sharpie, and then he also had to have been like a red Sharpie that he went in. He darkened up the sides a little bit, but that was the deal that did the trick. I think he swapped out his hooks too, but we'll give it a shot. We'll see how they do. I wanted to get one that was kind of a fish deal. You know, the beginning of the season, it's cold up here. We still got ice on the lakes, so craw patterns, that's the way to go. But you know, once that kind of lightens up, I got like a rainbow trout. That'll probably work pretty good. There's a lot of trout up here in Maine, so never thrown these guys, but like the looks of them. They've performed in classics, so I'm gonna give them a shot here at home. All right, so these guys right here. So I've been working on putting together some type of Whopper Plopper setup. I had a hard time with the Whopper Plopper last year, and this is something that's going to help me with that. These are ball bearing swivels. I got the 3s and the 4s just because I didn't know what was going to work. Looks like the 4s are probably going to be the better option for a Whopper Plopper, but maybe the smaller ones, you know, use the 3 for that. But these are ball bearing swivels, so when the Whopper Plopper gets something tangled in that back, it has a tendency to spin the whole lure, and that can really junk up your line if you are not careful. But that's where the ball bearing swivel comes in. That lure is going to be able to spin freely and not junk up my line. So hopefully that does a trick in saving me some braid. Since we're talking about braid, and one of actually the rod and reel combination is going to be a Whopper Plopper setup. Went with some Power Pro 50-pound test. That's what guys are typically using in open water scenarios with a Whopper Plopper, which is 9 times out of 10 when I'm throwing it. So 50-pound test should do me just good for that. And talk about these guys real quick. Smaller than I thought. Alright, so we got the DT6s here. Some of these are Ike colors. I think one of them is a generic color. Not sure which is which. Red, Crawdad. It's a pretty good coloration again, all with the Crawdad. These balsa wood crankbaits perform in the early spring, and we're going to put them to work here this year. So got some DT6s. I don't believe I have any, so we're starting from scratch with that. So got a couple of them, try them out here in the spring. If I like them, I might pick up some more later down the road. If you guys don't know, I just found this out the other day. DT6, what that stands for is dives to 6 feet. So I didn't know that. You guys probably do, but the internet knows everything. All right, these guys are also something that these are actually what led me down the rabbit hole of spending $800 on this entire order. These worms right here. So these are the Springer worms from Mans, and I think it's like $8 for it. Those aren't as bad as I thought they were going to be. They're like $8 for 4 of them, for the 4-inch and the 6-inch. They didn't have any of the watermelon green. Actually, when I was putting this order together, they got sold out on them. But what these do is they basically have a spring inside them, so when they flutter down, they literally flutter like crazy. So gonna give these a shot this spring. Probably the only 2 that I'm gonna get a hold of, because I think these are gonna be a pretty hot thing this year. So wanted to have a few on hand for pre-fishing. We've talked about everything but the reels. Now we're on to the reels. So Tackle Warehouse had a sale going on when I was putting all this together, and I kind of was going through my rods and reels and seeing, you know, what I needed to kind of round stuff out. There's some stuff that I needed to work out of the arsenal, and stuff I needed to work in. And as we kind of go along here and you guys get to know me a little bit better, 13 Fishing is probably my favorite reel. The Concept A is my absolute favorite, and the C is a very close second to the A, even though that C is a little bit more expensive. Typically the components on the C, a little bit more metal involved than with the A, but I love both of the reels pretty much. With the A just a little bit more. And they had a sale going on. I believe it's a closeout sale on the Concept C's and A's, which just kind of worries me a little bit, because I'm worried about, you know, what the future holds there. I hope they don't change stuff out too much with these reels, because if that's the case, I'm gonna have to buy more, because I absolutely love them. Yeah, I've tried the Concept Z. You know, it's okay, but very fond of the A's and the C's. So I am left-handed when it comes to fishing, and I picked up a couple of reels to kind of finish out some of the collection. These cork handles, man, they're always beat up when you take them out of the box. But this is a lefty Concept A 7-3-1. So smooth when they come out of the box, buttery like that. I believe they were about 20 bucks off. Put that off to the side, take care of it in a second. And then we got actually I bought 2 7.3 A's. Didn't realize I did that. So I bought, this is probably my typical speed. On the reels that I go to the 7.3-1s. I typically, you know, only on my chatterbait setups, I will go to a 6.3-1 on the Concept A, just because I don't want to overfish that crankbait too much. But on most setups, I will just slow down the reel a little bit, as opposed to burning it with a 7.3-1. But I have all of the Concept A's. Very, very happy with them. And then we got a Concept C. Now, the reason that I got a Concept C is, one, because it was on closeout. I was worried that there wasn't going to be any more. But there was a rod and reel combination that I wanted to put together based on this reel and a rod that I already have. And this should be a 8.1 to 1. I just realized I'm saying all my gears messed up. Very good looking reel. Very good looking reel. It's probably one of the toughest reels I've ever owned. I've owned a lot of them. Haven't really gotten into the Shimano's. Actually answered a couple questions about the Shimano's, which I'll probably, you know, explore in a little bit more detail. But it's a very good looking reel. Has served me very well. And this 8.1 to 1 is going to be a jig setup for me. So I'm going to be pairing that up with a Ducket Ghost, and the reason that I'm pairing this up with a Ducket Ghost, which I'm going to make a video on all my rods and reels here pretty soon before we get into the season, but the reason that I decided to put this reel on the Ducket Ghost is I got the Ducket Ghost last year. I did a trade actually with a fellow fisherman for some lures that I painted up, and it was a heavy 7.2, I think, heavy 7.2, and it's an all white rod, so it looks kind of weird. That's why Concept C, it's going to look really good on it. But the Ducket Ghost rods don't have inserts in their guides. They just have stainless steel guides. And I had a reel, I think it was a Concept Z actually, that I had on there, and I had braid on the Concept Z because I was trying some different stuff out with it. I think it was a higher gear ratio. Well, it drove me absolutely nuts listening to that braid on those stainless steel guides. So this is going to be a jig setup for the Concept C and the Ducket, and I'm going to be running fluorocarbon on there, and hopefully that will cut down on some of that noise and not drive me as crazy, and able to have a pretty good setup for my jig fishing. So I'm going to be taking my current jig setup that's going to be for frogging. This is going to be my new jig setup with this reel, and we'll be pairing that up with the Ducket Ghost. Now, on the other side of things, where I already kind of started talking about, was with the owner ball bearing swivels. So I saw a video on of these on YouTube, and there was literally two setups. You had regular bare ball. I'll put a link to it in the description below if you guys want to check that out. But they had a regular swivel and a ball bearing swivel, and it was attached to a very large sinker. And the guy was taking them and spinning the regular swivel, which eventually would kink up and then go back the other way, and then the ball bearing swivel, where that weight would just spin and spin and spin and spin. Because so what my thought process was is to get some of those for my whopper ploppers, because about the same time that I like throwing a whopper plopper is about the same time that there's a lot of debris in the water, and I want to be able to throw it. And you know, anytime that, if anybody has fished a whopper plopper with debris on the water, it's an absolute nightmare. And if something gets caught up in that tail, the whole lure starts to spin. Well, when you're running straight braid on a whopper plopper setup, which is what I'm going to be doing, because it's such a heavy lure, and then, you know, fish that go after it typically a little bit bigger, it can really put a hurting on your line. So in the event to save my braid, I got these ball bearing swivels. So one of these Concept A's, which I bought two 7.3 to ones, is going to be going on the rod that I bought, which I don't know if it's going to work for me or not for whopper ploppers. Might be extreme overkill, but if it doesn't work out, I'm going to be using it. I already have a backup plan for it. So we have a rod, and if you guys have never seen the way in which Tackle Warehouse ships out their rods, they do a really good job of it. They take a little bit added care, make sure that it gets to you the way that it should. So bear with me for just a second. So I'll show you guys real quick. Something that Tackle Warehouse does that I absolutely love is they tape the handle end down. So then there's this cap that goes over that. So what it does is it's holding the rod at this point, which it can take a little bit of banging up against that cap to, you know, and get to you in one piece. What it does on the other side is it keeps the rod from banging the tip off from the other end. And this is a very big rod. It's a 710 heavy, and I don't want that tube, I think, is like 8 feet, so that would be a big problem if that tip were to smash up against the other end. So right here you can see bubble wrap on the tip, and you got your plastic around it. And what I have gotten is a St. Croix Bass X. I absolutely love this rod. The brand Bass X, if you're looking for a good middle of the road rod, Bass X is something that I'm going to recommend to anybody. I have bought high-end Dobyns, I've bought high-end G Loomis rods. I keep coming back to Bass X, and they keep keeping me happy and putting fish in the boat, and I have yet to had a problem with one. So this is I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to pick that up or not, but it's a 710 heavy power fast action graphite rod. So the line capacity on this is 14 to 30 pounds and can handle lures from 1 ounce to 4 ounces. Now this rod is probably geared more towards your A-rigs and your swim baits, but I'm going to be giving it a shot with the Whopper Plopper. I have had a hard time finding a rod that I like with that lure. It's a water lure, and I think they weigh almost 2 ounces. So my hope is that this rod is going to do the trick. Fast action, long rod. Hopefully it fits in my rod locker on my boat. But I'm very, very happy to put this guy together. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the... Alright, so everything looks the way that it should. All the guides look like they're in good shape. And we have a absolute monster of a rod. Very, very excited. So guys, again, if you have not checked out the Bass X line of rods from St. Croix, and you're looking for a middle of the road, something that's not going to break the budget, typically they're going for about $100 a piece, and very, very happy with this rod, and they're extremely light. I have been able to fish 12, 13, 14 hour days, not blown out my shoulder from casting, and been very happy and successful with this rod. So excited to try it out. Hopefully it works for the Whopper Plopper, but we'll have to put it in hand and give it a try, because just like everything on the internet, or everybody's opinions when it comes to fishing rods, it's very subjective to the person that you're talking with. And for me, I have found that Bass X is an absolute phenomenal product. My grandfather's knife. I use that knife in almost every unboxing that I do. Alright guys, so it's a lot of skirt material in here. The bulk of the order really was those 3 reels and some skirt material, couple lipless, a lot of stuff that I want to try. A lot of stuff that I want to try out. These DT6s, I'm probably going to pick up a ton of these if these perform for me, but that's going to be one of my secret weapons this spring. Going to be making jigs here pretty soon. Hopefully, that's successful for me. I fell in love with swim jigs last year. We'll give that a shot. I also love throwing football jigs as well. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. It's almost open water. We're almost going to be fishing. Probably in the coming weeks, I got maybe one more order that I need to put in with Tackle Warehouse and be set up for a good portion of the fishing season. Probably do a rod and reel arsenal, and then we're going to be getting after it on the water. So if you guys want to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you can be notified every time that I upload a video, do that. Thank you for watching. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys next time right here with a brand new video. Look at that. That is straight money right there. Oh, I can't wait.